Good morning. Hi, I'm Meteorologist Lisa Green here with a look at, well, what we've seen and what we continue to see as we are looking out for some snow heading into more parts of our Friday and continuing on into the weekend as we have first alert weather days ahead for us both today, continuing, and into Saturday as well. So as you see behind me, we've already had some snow make its way through the valley, and some of us have even had some accumulation on colder surfaces. We'll take this full view here, where we saw a little bit of snow on the pumpkins there. This is such a cute photo. This is in our gallery. We have a couple of these in our gallery from our viewer in the Annetta area. This was from Cassidy, and she shared this picture of just a light coating on those colder pumpkins here that we saw in the morning hours this morning. And then another one is showing, looks like we're having some trouble here with my application, so I'm going to just reboot this really quick, but we'll continue to talk about the snow that you're seeing on the screen there. We are looking at the rural Belcourt area in the Rolette County region, and you can see this is the Fish Lake area. This is a fresh coating of snow, not just on pumpkins, but on grassy surfaces as well there. Okay, so hopefully we've got our system working just fine. There we go. I just wanted to make sure we gave credit to the photos that we've been getting in. So this one is again from the Annetta area. Cassidy sent this to us. These pumpkins on her farm had some fresh snow on them. And then the Belcourt area, we saw some snow too. This was sent to us from Tucker, and it's just a fresh light coating, but it is just enough on the grassy surfaces to cause some issues. And one other thing to note, if we're looking at some precip on some of our bridge decks, those places where we're not in contact, where the asphalt or pavement is not in contact with the warmer ground, those are areas where we could see some freeze up going on with some of the precip moving through as temperatures continue to stay on the cold side, especially in the north. So keep that in mind in those areas here. And we have had still showing up on some of our DOT cam views, some views of some flakes. This is one, I selected this one a while ago. It looks a lot better now. This is in the Solway area along Highway 2 east of Bagley. You can see a little bit of road spray behind these vehicles. We did have some flakes coming down about 20 minutes or so ago in this shot, so we're not quite done with this clipper, and these flakes aren't showing up very well right now on the radar. I've got our radar set to a 6-hour loop so you can see what was coming in early this morning. We were tracking the showers, rain and snow showers, as this clipper was moving through right on the valley today. The airport in Devil's Lake reported some snow. Again, in the Annetta area, we had some snow. We had snow showing up on DOT cams in Lake Park, Detroit Lakes, the airport there, several hours of snow reported, and a viewer also reported seeing some snow there too. And again, still seeing a few flakes lingering in spots. So some of us have already seen our first snow of the season that moved through. And just kind of zooming in on that area along Highway 2 between Bagley and Bemidji, not seeing anything on the radar, but don't be surprised if you have a flurry or a flake flying by, as long as you've got some clouds overhead. And you can see we're mostly cloudy here in the valley. We've got some clearer air trying to punch in, and that's going to continue to be a factor for us through the rest of the day. You may get a little more sunshine up in the northern valley coming up before this next round moves our way. And you see what's out to the west. This next clipper, this one a little farther south, which could have some implications for its track, because as it drifts to the south and east, there's the potential, some of our models showing that maybe more central North Dakota impacted by this one, and then kind of clipping the part of our viewing area in the James River Valley. Others bring it a little farther east and it affects more places in the valley. But bottom line is if you're heading out into more places in North Dakota, central North Dakota especially, that's where you're more likely to see some snow tonight and into tomorrow morning. I know we've got, of course, hunting open or starting up here soon, and for Fargo and Grand Forks and the whole state of North Dakota, and then of course tomorrow in Minnesota as well. Okay, so let's take a look at kind of the highlights of what we're experiencing each day. Today we already saw that morning mix, still some lingering flakes with that. And then breezy weather, that north wind kicked in, and now our focus for the rest of the day is going to be the cold and the wind associated with it. So we're being taken over by some colder air. And so when this next clipper moves in, we've got colder atmosphere stickier in place and more likely to see flakes flying, see that fresh coating of snow on the grass, just like we saw in that picture from around the Belcourt area. And so some light accumulations possible, and that's especially the case in eastern North Dakota. And really haven't changed things here. Still looking at Sunday with the chance for some more wind, cold continuing on Sunday, and maybe even some lake effect snow downwind from our open, larger lakes. And that snow may be also possible in the east, and we'll talk more about that coming up here in a little bit. But we're going to go chronologically through each day and each impact that we may be experiencing in the valley. So current conditions, that north wind's kicked in. You can see the flags moving in the wind down at the Dakota Magic Casino, Skycam, and temperatures. Boy, we are cool here heading into this middle part of the day. Devil's Lake, one of our chilliest spots right now at 23. It's 29 in Grand Forks. Fargo's at 33. Again, this north wind. We're going to break this down a little more for you coming up. Still pretty mild in Fergus Falls at 37 degrees. So the warmer, relatively speaking, warmer air is farther south. Here's a view of that on our temperature map. We're at 37 in Fergus Falls, Elbow Lake, Wadena, Alexandria at 38. Check out Rolla. It's 18 degrees right now in Rolla. It's been a minute since we've seen those numbers, especially at this time of day, not in the early morning hours here. So again, this is something that's going to be a picture for us basically all day long. I don't think we'll see our temperatures go up much from where we are at right now, maybe a degree or two if we get some sunshine in the north, but that's also some very cold air in the north as well. So here's a look at the wind coming in out of the north. Again, that's that colder air rushing in. We've got a gust in Fargo to 32 miles per hour, and other places with some gusts into the 20s behind that clipper. And this afternoon, again, here's a look at our temperatures. 20s north to 30 to some low to mid-30s in the south, and more breaks in the clouds in the wake of this system. So let's show you that here in our hour-by-hour planner. So we're going to start things off in the lunch hour. Still might be a couple of flurries, a couple of flakes. You can see them showing up on our forecast model, but mostly quieting things down and seeing some breaks in the clouds too. Heading into the 6 o'clock hour, there is that system starting to move into places like Minot, Bismarck area. And some of our models delay it a little bit longer, but this is one of our earlier ones, so we just want to give you a heads up that it could arrive to some of our northwestern viewing area as early as, just after dinner here heading into tonight during the evening. And then this starts to move east from there, so this is 8 p.m. And this model, once again, we've been talking about model differences, and we are still seeing that happening here. They're not fully in lockstep. So we are looking at, when it comes to track, so we're looking at the track maybe staying a little farther west in some models where, more toward Bismarck and then just barely clipping Jamestown. And then there are models like this one that bring it a lot farther east where much of eastern North Dakota is impacted and even parts of our viewing area into west central Minnesota. And then there are some kind of in between. So kind of if we take that middle ground, we're looking at the James River Valley, maybe up to Devil's Lake, being the area where we may see accumulation. And then there is that possibility for a few flakes toward Grand Forks and Fargo. But don't be surprised if these our two biggest cities in the valley end up missing out. And then over into Minnesota, even less chance of seeing it, but still can't say it's zero. So now, with all of that said, let's take a look at this model. This is the one that's more aggressive at bringing that chance for snow to the east. And as we go through time, heading into the overnight hours tonight, you can see eastern North Dakota seeing some flakes, continuing on into tomorrow morning, some places in Minnesota. Fargo may be getting some snowflakes around the 8 o'clock hour. And again, it's much colder air that's taken over, so we are looking at, instead of more of a rain-snow mix, more just straight up snow in a lot of spots. It doesn't mean there won't be some rain mixed in there, but the chances are better for snow as we're looking at temperatures by tomorrow morning that are going to be into the teens again up by Rolla to some upper 20s in the south to start off your Saturday morning. So it's going to be on the chilly side. Now heading into the day, we're going to move on our hour-by-hour map. We're looking at that chance for some showers, snow showers again, with the possibility of southeastern North Dakota being the greatest chance for getting some accumulating snow. And notice that, as I mentioned, more snow, but there's still that mixed potential or a little bit of freezing drizzle or sleet happening here. And then as we head into the afternoon, this starts to drop more to the southeast. It starts to clear the valley more and more. Again, this is the more aggressive scenario. Others keep it a lot farther west too. So we are, kind of in the mix for all of those things. And as we head into the afternoon, the main band moves south, but we could still get some streamers and again some lake effect snow coming off the lake heading into tomorrow night. But otherwise, it will be from a snow standpoint quieting down. You can see some breaks in the clouds. And snowfall potential, here's where we're at. We're looking at, areas in North Dakota seeing that potential for a light coating. And then there are some spots that might get a little bit more. And this where you see this more solid light blue color. If you look at our legend here, that's that 1+ range. I think that that's most likely, and again, just focusing in on the Red River Valley, our viewing area, which also encompasses the James River Valley, the James River Valley being the area with the best chance for getting a more accumulating snow, more substantial snowfall. Elsewhere, maybe just a dusting to 1/2 inch of snow, and then places where you see no color on the map, where we're not getting any snow at all, over toward the east. And there will be a little bit of melting mixed in too with the warm ground that we still have. And then I want to mention places to the east. You can see there's a little shot of snow here over toward Baudette, over toward Bemidji. Part of that is the potential for some snow coming off the lakes, the lake effect snow. As that colder air moves over the open, warmer lake waters, the air just over the lake is a lot warmer, the air that's sitting over it. And so that colder air moves over it, and then that air starts to rise, that warmer air rises, and that's where we get that development. It has more water vapor in it too over the lake, and that turns into lake effect snow. We'll go over that coming up here maybe next week as we talk about how this situation evolved. We'll get into that more on Monday. But just be aware, if you're south of any of our big open lakes, that's where we're more likely to see that potential for some lake effect snow. And then once we get into the day on Sunday, there's the potential for system snow too. So I've expanded the view here a little bit more. And again, this is Saturday morning, so looking at that. And this is a different model, by the way, than the one I just showed. And this one looks slightly different, but still bringing in that chance for some snow into eastern North Dakota, again, with the concentration more into the James River Valley. But notice how it's kind of skipping. It's kind of missing our Minnesota viewing area with that particular model run. And that's the European model. That's the one we've been looking at all week. But I wanted to expand the view here. This is Saturday by 5 p.m. Look what's going on up here. So we've got this big low, this big upper level low over Hudson Bay. And that is going to stream around a wave of instability. And our models are showing that it's going to drop in, as we zoom out a little bit more here, that is going to drop in the potential for some snow into parts of northeast Minnesota, the International Falls area, the Arrowhead, and some of this may just brush by our eastern viewing area if this happens Sunday. This is Sunday morning, so some of our Eastern Valley viewers are going to potentially get a shot of some snow. Right now the concentration looks a little more toward Duluth, more toward Lake Superior area, but still some of us might get scraped by that or clipped by that. So even Sunday, some of us watching out for some flakes still moving into the valley. And Sunday's going to be a cold day, especially heading into Sunday night and into early Monday with this air mass that's taken over. And we'll be in the heart of it. That's in other places in the Midwest and parts of the eastern part of the U.S. Are also bracing for this cold air to punch south and affect them too. And everybody, ours will be probably colder. It moderates as it moves southward, but it impacts everyone. And it will be cold for a relatively speaking instance for all of those locations that are impacted by it. So we're talking about the hunting opener. Hunters, I think, like it a little colder. We like to have a little snow on the ground so we can track, and we may just have that on Saturday morning, especially in North Dakota. There's going to be at times some breezy weather. I think Sunday as well, we're going to see that too. And you can see temperatures really struggling. I think most of us stay in the 20s to some low 30s on Saturday, and then Sunday trying to climb, but it is going to be kind of cool on Sunday as well, especially again heading into Sunday night. So here's winter coming in to say, hey, it's going to leave again. It's just letting us know it's in the neighborhood, and it'll be making its presence even more known as we get further into the cold weather months. But today, tomorrow, and into Sunday, we are looking out for some pretty chilly temperatures. Again, looking at 20s to some low 30s, and overnight lows by the time we get into Monday, after this unsettled weather has moved on, into some teens in Fargo, which I don't think Fargo has seen anything that cold yet this season. And looking at some breezy weather into Monday, but notice what happens. We see those temperatures make a nice recovery just in time for Veterans Day. So events that you may have outside for Veterans Day, I mean, you'll still want your coat, but it's not going to be nearly as chilly as the weekend. We'll get into some upper 40s. Anywhere where we have a light coating of snow, that's going to be melting as we see our afternoon temperatures into next week getting into the 40s to, by next Friday, 50 degrees. So started off the week in the 50s. We've dropped this Friday now into more 30s for temperatures today. And then next Friday, we'll be right back up to 50 degrees. So weather that is more on the fall side, not done with us yet, but we're definitely getting a taste of this next season to come here in the forecast. So again, want to make sure you're ready for it. We've got first alert weather days. I'm just checking Facebook to see if anybody has any questions that I can hopefully help answer as we're preparing for this. And just a reminder, you know, I had someone comment, well, this isn't a big deal. No, in January, this would not be a big deal, but it's our first snow of the season, and that is a big deal to a lot of folks. And, you know, it can affect travel. We're not used to driving in this kind of weather just yet. Reduces visibility. There might be some slick spots where we get some of that accumulation as well. So this is our way of just making sure you are prepared for it. So again, we are going to continue to track these systems for you. This first clipper is dropping south. The next one heading our way for tonight and into Saturday. And we'll be right here this afternoon keeping you up to date and all weekend long too. You can turn to valleynewslive.com. You can turn to our Facebook page, all of our social media platforms, and in addition to that, of course, the Valley News Live weather app, great tool to track the radar, see if you've got any snow coming your way, and to keep an eye on those temperatures too as we work our way through the weekend. And if you are one of the hunters out there, have a successful hunt and a safe hunting opener here ahead for the weekend, and I hope you stay warm. Pack accordingly. Make sure you're bringing those layers and you're ready to go for some much colder temperatures than what we've seen so far.